Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
And I'm Sarah.
This is Dating Kinda Sucks, a podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. This week, we'll be talking about refreshing your dating profile. Enjoy the show.
And hey, YouTube, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more fresh content or new episodes.
That's right.
Fresh content coming at you.
Fresh content.
Well, because last week we had that one episode kind of come to the forefront. So now we've got this one that's actually being recorded the week of, instead of 2 weeks ago we recorded our last one.
I know we went to all this work that we were going to try to have these middle episodes that were conversations with people, but we haven't actually scheduled those. So we're like behind on scheduling those. So instead we're doing full episodes, which somehow seems just like, I don't know. It's
just
funny.
as time intensive.
Yeah, just as time intensive, but maybe less scheduling. It's more we can just be like, let's just record. And so we're recording. Here we are. It is, what day is today?
Why don't you have a calendar on your computer to tell you what day it is? Mine does.
Let's see. Good question.
It's Tuesday, May 17th.
Yes, there we go. Today is Tuesday, May 17th. And you are still in Nashville at this point.
I'm back from Florida because we never recorded.
Oh, that's
we teed
right.
it up that we were both going to be in Florida at the same time, but then
never got together.
Published the Roe v. Wade episode instead, and then
all fucked up. All of it, yeah. It's all jumbled up. I am currently in a little hotel outside Pensacola, Florida. I have left Florida, and well, not yet.
You haven't left. Wait, close.
Basically, like I'm. This is essentially it. I mean, I'm in Lower Alabama right now. All right, so this is basically what Pensacola is, and I'm going to be heading west. So I left Florida this morning, and did not think I was going to have the energy to actually record, but I'm here. So
I don't know how you did it, but I'm happy that we're doing it now.
I know it'll be good for us, because I'm going to have to try to do the video editing, which should be entertaining because I'm not sure where I'm going to be when I'm going to be doing it. But I'll be heading to Houston, and if you live in the Houston area, let me know. I'll be there from the 19th to the 26th, and you can let me know if you're going to if you'd like to get a drink or something like that. I think I might be up for meeting a couple people, and then I will probably close myself off from talking to anybody for a few days.
Well, and then what? You're going to the rest of Texas, pretty much.
Yes,
you're stopping in Texas.
Yeah. So I'm spending almost 3 weeks in Texas. I'm doing almost a week in between San Antonio and Austin in a town called San Marcos, and then I'm doing a week in the Dallas area, and then I'm going to Tulsa because I've never been to Oklahoma, so I might as well. And then I'm going to Colorado Springs, and then ending up in Utah where my parents are, and gonna stay there for a bit. So that'll be about a month-long journey, taking my time. It's funny. I was talking to my mother, and so she hasn't been feeling great. She's had some illnesses, and I think every now and then her memory slips a little bit. And she was like, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm leaving Florida." She goes, "You're leaving? So I'll see you soon." And I was like, "Oh, like in a month." And she had forgotten that I was taking a month to go through Texas to come to Utah, because she thought I would just be like driving straight through and be there in like 3 days. I was like, nope, sorry. More like
that's not how Adam rolls.
That's right. No, I take my time. 4 hours at a time I'm driving. That's it. Fuck that. So out of Florida. Florida was fun. I'm glad I got a chance to see the people I saw. I'm sad there were some people I didn't get a chance to see, that I was disappointed it didn't work out. I probably could have stayed there another month and still not managed to see everybody I wanted to see. But it was nice. I did a lot of one-on-one meetups with people, which was so much better than just trying to host something at Ale House and have 20 people come. And so I was able to just get some good quality time with people that I want to see. But it made me realize that I'm kind of done with Florida.
You said that last episode.
Yeah,
I know you don't remember, but you definitely said that last episode.
I never remember.
But you're consistent, so that's good.
I do remember that someone in the Facebook group said after listening to last episode, that's okay. I wouldn't want to meet with me anyways. And I was like, what did I say? And he's like, you said you had no desire to do a DKS meetup while you were in Florida. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, I remember that now. I just,
we didn't even meet up.
I know, yeah. You could have come to the beach, but that would have required having transportation and all of that.
That's true.
So I am I'm on the road, and I did have a fun little story that I told you. I texted you and was
oh yeah.
What did I say to you? I said
I lost the love of my life. You texted me really late, so immediately I thought, this motherfucker is drunk right now. I'm just going to ignore what he's sending me. But then you called the next day and you're like, Sarah, the love of my life. A misconnection.
Do you remember what exactly I said? That
I don't know. Now I'm going to need to pull it up.
I feel like I need to see what I actually said. It was something like that. It was like, late.
Woe is me. My life sucks.
Well, no.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
not.
it was.
Okay.
The vibe was like,
here it is. I found it.
Die.
Here it is. I know you're in bed, but fuck. I met the love of my life tonight, my genuine soulmate, and there's no chance of it working out in any way.
That is so dramatic, but fuck.
And by the way, it was only 11 o'clock, so it was not that late.
That's late to be, okay.
It was 10 p.m. for you, by the way.
I was asleep, though, because I didn't respond until the morning.
And so maybe that was a little over dramatic. I will admit, but you know how I am. That's what I immediately.
Well, I didn't get any context, so I'm like, just some person he met at a bar and didn't really know. But I guess that wasn't the case.
So I went to a bar of course you knew it was at a bar. Like that was. Of course.
Yeah, okay. It was either Ale House or some other random bar in Florida.
It was actually a Post Time Lounge in Castleberry, Florida, where old people love to sing karaoke. And they're all like I was probably one of the youngest people there by like 30 years, and I went there to do some karaoke, and I got up on stage to sing. Do you know what song I sing?
Fuck, you always sing a slow song.
Kind of so slow, but
I don't know. And I've literally seen you perform it on fucking Facebook. I put it on Facebook. Something.
Yeah,
God damn it.
Creep by Radiohead.
Yep. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I got up there to sing that, and the DJ announced coming to the stage, Adam A, and someone from the audience yells out, "Does the A stand for bacon?" Which seemed very odd, right? So I found her after I almost said after the show. I found her after I finished singing, which was a performance. I will say that, but not a show. And she was outside smoking, and I was talking to her and said, "Oh, do you know me from TikTok or something? Because the bacon reference." And she said, "No, I know you from like 10, 11 years ago." I was like, "Really?" And she says that she and I either made out or almost made out. It was one or the other. I don't remember exactly.
Fucking Florida.
At Bullet Bar. And in the process of that, we were like getting along really well, which is why we were either making out or about to make out. And either I don't know.
I love your.
I'm like apparently, according to her, God. And I believe her 100%. I told her that she was basic, or I called her basic. Like we started talking about something, and I called her basic. And then my beard was a lot shorter back then, like 10 years ago. It was like very shortly trimmed, and she complimented my beard, and I said something like, "It's better for eating pussy."
I hate you so much.
Oh my God, I hate me so much. God. Are you kidding me?
Who the fuck says that?
I don't.
Master of None would say to me as a joke, but
right.
not to someone you actually want to get intimate with. Who says that?
I don't know. I was drunk at Bullet Bar with someone who's apparently I thought I was trying to neg her, so that's why I was probably calling her basic. I probably said something like, "Oh, you're pretty fun for someone who's so basic." I probably said something like that because I thought that that's how
you're a piece of shit.
That's how you do it. Exactly. And then I told her my beard was good for eating pussy. Like what kind of
and every woman goes, "Wow, I just want to sit on your face now." Yes.
Oh my God.
What did you think she was gonna say?
I mean, I have no idea, but she was into it. She was like, "It was fine." I was like, as soon as she told me this, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I cannot believe I did that. That is the worst. That is awful." She goes, "Whatever. I was into you, so like it was okay. Like I didn't care." Like in the sense that she was like, "I wanted to find out," like basically.
Okay.
And so then we started, she gave me her name because I got her name and I was like, I remember your name, not from the bullet bar thing, but from like 5 years later when she messaged me on Facebook and asked me to officiate her wedding.
Oh, Adam.
And apparently she'd we weren't friends on Facebook. So I think she had just followed me enough to she remembered me that I did comedy and stuff like that. And then knew that I did weddings. And I remember talking to her on Facebook Messenger back and forth. We were communicating about her wedding and about what they were looking for and her sense of humor and things like what they were looking for as far as the ceremony. And I remember thinking to myself when we were talking, she's really cool. Like, it's such a shame that that she's getting married. Why is it always the cool people that are always getting married? And then her husband's best friend wanted to officiate the wedding, so it didn't happen. And then that was it. I never heard from her again until we randomly ran into each other at post time, where now she is. I haven't said her name, have I?
No.
Okay, good. I just have to think about these things sometimes. I'm so used to just not having any sense of discretion whatsoever.
Well, you're also not used to talking to people, so there's no names
true.
to hide. You just talk about your nothingness. I don't know.
So, anyways, I was about to say, so her name is, but no, I'm not saying her name. She is now in an open marriage. And so she's actually, she was there at post time with her boyfriend.
Husband?
No, with her boyfriend.
Oh,
she's in an
okay.
open marriage. She was there with her boyfriend. Her husband was home with their 4-year-old daughter.
Okay. Understood.
And so I talked to the boyfriend. I was like, I hope I'm not imposing on date night or something. It's like, no, cool. Just hang out. So we just hung out the whole night and we sat there and drank and talked. And she had me go up and sing a duet with her, even though I didn't know the song. It was, I always forget the fucking name of it, and I haven't seen it, or I don't think I've even heard it. It's the one with Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper.
You're
like the
I'm off the deep end.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd ever heard the Bradley Cooper part of it, and I was trying to sing it. It was yeah. But anyways, and we were just very just talking and clicking on just a crazy level, and it was just one of those things that that point at the night, I was thinking to myself, I was like, if I hadn't. If I hadn't been, I was going on my Trampage back then, like 10 years earlier. I was on my full Trampage mode. I was an asshole. I probably would not have been good for her at that point. But if we had, our friends apparently separated us, and that's why we didn't continue our conversation at that point. And so I'm wondering if that hadn't happened, if our friends had just left us alone.
Can't live life like that.
Well, I'm not living life like that. I'm just saying she's someone that I clicked with pretty well. We've been texting back and forth since then. She's like, oh, let me get your number. And so I gave her my phone so she could text herself. And she texted herself from my phone and said, your future ex-husband.
Oh.
Yeah. It was just that we really clicked on every level. And it was just kind of a sad realization that whatever that door that maybe existed at some point, that door has been closed for a while, but it probably was there. If it probably was something that a decade ago would have been something that would have happened.
But you were toxic 10 years ago.
That's true. That is very true.
It wouldn't have opened because you were not there.
Yeah, I know. But it was still the fact that we got along so well, so immediately, we'd known each other our whole lives in a matter of minutes, is always something that I appreciate. And it was like, oh well, we could have had that friendship over the last decade. So that's why I texted you that maudlin, overly dramatic.
I'm so sad and drunk.
I didn't say I was sad or drunk.
But I could tell from that message and the time that it came through that both of those things were happening. Yes.
My goal was just to go there and sing one song, and then I was like, just to get it out of, I was trying to visit all the places that I like to visit. So I was like, I'll go there, sing a song, and I'll be done. And then I ended up staying there until they closed, of course, because
and that's how you're old, because you're singing karaoke songs at post time in Castleberry.
But I've been doing that for years, so I had to go back and revisit it. I had to revisit all my old haunts. I went to dancers. I went to everywhere. I went to Ale House. Well, I went to Ale House pretty much nightly, but that was, what do you expect?
I'm not surprised. I expected. Yeah, exactly.
I went to Ale House enough during my time just visiting that the new bartender
knows you by name now.
Knows you by drink and name. Yeah, by now. So there we go. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
At least you're consistent when you're back in Florida. That's all I have to say.
Oh, it's funny. I was talking to my friends who were trying to meet up in Houston, and they're like, "So, what do you want to meet? What do you want to go do?" And they're suggesting some things like, "Oh, there's an outdoor crawdad place that you can, sit outdoors and eat, all the crawdads you want, or whatever, crawfish or whatever. I don't know what the fuck they're
Crawfish,
called."
yeah.
And I was like, "That sounds fucking awful to be outside in Houston, in
Also
Texas,
that, yeah,
in
June,
the end of May, beginning of
yeah.
June, like." Eating seafood? Like, no, what part of that sounds good to anybody? I don't understand that. And other friends, so they're just like, what do you want to do? I was like, air conditioning and liquor. Like, that's all I need. Like, just find me a dive bar with air conditioning and liquor, and I'll meet you there, and I'll be happy. Right, there we go. I'll be happy.
You were not happy in Nashville when those things happened, though. So,
well, because you just have weird tasting bars, is what it is.
Didn't you pick the fucking bar? No, maybe
no,
that
it
was
was you.
But it was a dive bar. It was a fucking dive bar.
It's not a
though.
dive bar. My
It's
drink
a
was
Nashville
my drink was $13. It's not a dive bar.
That's typical for any drink in Nashville. Just saying. Just
Yeah, I
fucking
guess.
saying. You
I
want a
don't
Bud
know.
Light on Broadway? That'll be $7.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true. So that's all that's going on in my life. I think yes. Is that everything? I think that's everything worth.
And that was Missed
printing.
Connections with Adam Heath Avitable.
That was Missed Connections.
Oh man.
Talk about missed anything. What's going on with your life?
Fuck me. That was a really good transition though. Fuck, I set you up for that one. So let's just put out a disclaimer to anybody who takes birth control. Don't start your new pack, a new pack, something that's outside of your usual, and don't start it drunk. Or if you do, triple check that you didn't fuck it up, because when I was in Florida,
let's actually, for men, can you explain also how you fuck up birth control? Because there's a lot of men who might not even understand this.
Well, there are a couple ways you can fuck up birth control. If you don't take it consistently around the same time every day, that's going to make you inconsistent. There's also another way, and this is the way I fucked it up, where there's 4 weeks in the pack for 28 days, and the last week is the week that you're on your period. So typically on a normal pack, they're the white pills, and the white pills are just sugar pills. Basically, that's when you're going to get that's when you're going to get your period. So the first 3 weeks are the active hormones that are really keeping, pregnancy at bay. And if you take them every single day, you'll do it right. What I did, I fucked up, and I've been taking the same, okay, you got to give me a little bit. I've been taking the same birth control pill for years, Sprintec. And then I signed up for the online just to get them mailed to me because it was just cheaper, more convenient. And at first I was getting my consistent Sprintec. And then they started switching it up to like another alternative that's the same hormone level or whatever, but it's just a different name or whatever. And that's fine. But I realized the packaging is different, and it doesn't have there's no white pills there. They were like all fucking gray. The whole pack looked gray.
So the placebos are the same color as everything else?
Yes. The dumbest fucking design. Because typically it's week 1, 2, and 3 are either all different colors, or they're all blue, or they're all green, or whatever the fuck. And then the last week is always white. And so when I was taking my pills at the end of the month going, I'm going to get my period, I looked at the packaging again and was like, that's funny. I randomly there's like a little sticker that you can keep track of the days of the week. I randomly put the sticker on the opposite side of the birth control pack. And I'm like, wait, what the fuck did I just do? Like, I started looking at it after I just taken a pill going, what the fuck? And then I flipped it around and it said week 1, like very small, so fucking small on the opposite side. Or actually the week I was taking or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I flipped this shit upside down, and I took the placebo the week I was fucking the most. And then I started
hold on, the week you were fucking the most?
That was the week we recorded, and I was like, I'm having so much sex because it's our anniversary week and everything's great. Master and I are fucking like every single day. That was the week I was taking the fucking placebo pills, thinking I'm taking my birth control, like, because I was taking a pill every single night at the same time. I just fucked up the pack. So immediately, this is 10 o'clock at night. I am at my mother's house in Florida with the whole, Supreme Court thing going on. I fucking spiraled.
Yes, you did.
I called you. I called my friend Sam. I called Master of None. And I was like, yo, like, what if I'm fucking pregnant? Oh my God, what should I do? And they're like, okay, well, it's 10 o'clock at night. You just took your pill. You could still get your period. And I'm like, yeah, but I just realized I'm 2 days late. Cause that's when I started doing the math. I was like, typically I start after 2 placebo pills. After I take 2 placebo pills, then I get my period. And I had taken what I thought were placebo pills. I had taken 4 and 4 days in a row, not 4 all at once.
Right.
And realized I still don't have my period. So I fucking spiraled and really had to consider my options. So right after that,
and I'll probably say that Master of None and I probably didn't help the situation because
no, you guys were just like, okay, whatever, you're not pregnant. And I'm just like, there's a very good chance I could be pregnant right now because I fucked up the pills. We weren't using condoms. We just used my birth control and that's it. And I'm always consistent with it.
I think it was just because I was like, you've been on it for so long that it takes a while for those hormones to get out of your system.
I mean,
and then I just opted to start sending you memes about
the amount of baby memes you fucking sent me. And I was like, I'm going to fucking murder this bitch because it's not funny. And I legitimately think I'm fucking pregnant.
And I was like, you're not pregnant. I promise you, you're not.
How would you know?
I'm a doctor.
Shut the fuck up. Don't do that. No, but when I know my body that well and I know how many days until I get my period and I'm a machine, being 2 days off is fucking scary. And then realizing what I did after the fact. And I'm like, fuck, how did I fuck that up? And I was like, I was drunk and all the pills are the same fucking color. So I just wasn't paying attention, thinking like, doo. And typically on the birth control pills, the line where you're supposed to put your sticker for the days of the week is typically bigger on that side. So that's where you place your sticker. Not on this one. They are both almost identical in size on either side. So for me, it was really easy to understand how I fucked that up. And it was a new pack in general, not my usual. So I just fucked it up. Okay. So the next day,
okay. Breathe.
It's still stressful. The next day, I call my OBGYN and I leave a nice little message for the nurse practitioner who's going to return my call. She returns my call and she's like, okay, so here's what I would do. Don't take the rest of those pills. And hopefully, she's like, and hopefully in the next couple of days over the weekend, you'll get your period. I'm like, okay, cool. And she's like, any questions? I was like, well, what if I don't get my period? She goes, fair. Good question. I'm sure you're very worried about that. I'm like, yes, no fucking shit. She goes, well, if you don't get your period over the weekend, then we can schedule you to come in the next week for some blood work to test if you're pregnant or not. And then we can discuss your options from there. And that's honestly when it really fucking set in because it was just all magical made up shit of like, I'm probably being dramatic. Maybe I'm probably not pregnant. But then when she said that and she was like, yeah, I mean, there is a likelihood that you could be pregnant too. And just hearing it from like a medical professional, I lost my shit even more.
Did she not also say that it's unlikely because of how long you've been on birth control? I thought you said that she said that.
No, that was my friend saying that. My friend who gave me the exact advice the night before I called my OBGYN. She was like, stop taking the pack, do this, wait until the weekend. Like she studied a lot of medicine stuff. She's like, that's what I would do. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I still wanted to call just to know that if I needed to schedule an appointment, I could schedule something for blood work and figure it out and work on next steps. But I got off the phone, called Master of None. He's just like, okay, everything's going to be like, he was so calm. He's like, everything's going to be fine. You're probably not pregnant, but do whatever you need to do to feel good. So immediately I go on to Planned Parenthood's website and I'm like, okay, I get home from Florida Monday night. Right now it is Thursday. And so I need to get my period between now and Monday morning, or I'm going to need an abortion. Or Monday night, or I'm going to need an abortion. So I immediately just started looking up abortion appointments in my area. So I know a lot. The timing was really impeccable because this was all during the week where everyone was talking about bodily autonomy and women's rights. And then I'm sitting here going, fuck, I actually might need an abortion. Fuck. And I was just like, okay, just tunnel vision, focus on what you need to do. You need to schedule some appointments. So I log on to Planned Parenthood's website. In the state of Tennessee, from what I saw anyways, there are only 3 clinics, one in Nashville, one in Knoxville, and one in Memphis. And for those of you who don't know, Knoxville and Memphis are 3 hours away. And Nashville doesn't have any appointments. Because of COVID, you cannot just schedule an appointment online. You have to call.
Which is weirder, by the way. I would think because of COVID, they would want you just to make the appointment online. But okay, that's
no.
odd.
They said this is blocked out. Please call for an appointment because of COVID. I'm like, okay. So I call. Ring, ring, ring. I called 3 different times and I couldn't even get to a voicemail or anything for the Nashville metro, whatever area that they cover. Finally, at 4:00, someone finally answers. And I ask, do you have any availability? Because I'm also leaving for Guatemala at the end of May. So my window for getting an abortion is literally 3 weeks. 3 weeks of figuring this shit out.
Right.
So I call and I'm like, hey, and this is what, this is the first week of May, I believe, something like that. So I'm like, hey, do you have any appointments in the next 2 to 3 weeks for an abortion? Or whatever. I don't know if I worded it like that. And she was like, oh, we don't have any availability until mid-June. You can check back then. And I'm like, what the fuck? Mid-June? At this point, I'm thinking I'm pregnant. And I'm like, well, if I am pregnant, I'm exactly 3 weeks and 4 days pregnant because I did the math. And I'm early. So what if there were limits on how, like, if I was in a 6-week abortion ban and I'm this early and there's no appointments, what the fuck do I do? So then I started freaking out more, called the Memphis office. They didn't have appointments. Finally booked something in Louisville, which is also a 3-hour drive just north and out of the state. Booked an appointment there for Tuesday, the day after I get back.
Oh my God.
Booked one for Tuesday at 2:00. I was like, I'll just fucking take the day off and drive to Louisville. Fuck it. And then I booked one in Tallahassee because my friend lives near there. I booked one 2 weeks later. I just wanted to have options because I was worried that I wasn't going to get an appointment in the 3-week window that I needed to get it before leaving for Guatemala. So I
told you just go to Guatemala and then take care of it there, and you'd be all set.
I know what their situation is. I don't even think. I mean, some Latin American countries and Central America they don't offer their anti-abortion. Yeah, not a funny joke to make to me, but you did make it multiple times. You're like, just go to Guatemala and have elective surgery, and I'm like, no, shut up. But had those appointments, and then I just had like a breakdown and was like, fuck, like I really think I'm pregnant and I'm going to have to get an abortion. And I don't feel guilty about it because I literally was taking a pill every single day. This was not something that I wanted. And I was doing everything I thought in my power correctly to not have a child and to not get pregnant. So this makes sense to me. And the sooner I was able to get, if I was pregnant, the sooner I'm able to get an abortion, the more likely I am to just take the abortion pill and take one pill in office and then another pill 24 hours later. And it's going to be a very painful missed period. But hey, that's better than actually having to go through like the other alternative, like the procedure of it. So the fire was under my ass. And then of course, 3 fucking days later, the worst fucking 3 days ever, after I'm hanging out with family, everyone's joking about who's the next one to get pregnant in the family. And I'm just standing there at this fucking birthday party going, well, it could fucking be me, but I'm not going to say shit. I'm just internally dying. And then that night I got my period after it being a few days, I think 4 or 5 days late. Yeah. I
think it was funny that you went to your family party and you didn't drink.
Oh, but I haven't been drinking though in general.
I know, but I would have been throwing shots back, doing fireball, everything you could. But no, yeah, you texted me Sunday night. I think I was out and I was just getting I got like a string of messages from you.
I was like, I'm not fucking pregnant. Oh my, I think I cried after too, because it was every single day. I was like, God, please let me just get my period. Please, like this was not like that. Come on, please. And then it finally happened. But the this is TMI. The first few bits of blood, like the 2 days before I actually got my period, I was like, that could be good. That could be good. And I was like,
that's a good sign.
That blood's better than no blood, right? Right. So yeah. But I had so many backup plans because I just had so little time to get it taken care of. And on top of that, there weren't any resources in Tennessee. And I was gonna have to drive at least 3 hours if I was in fact pregnant.
And I know I obviously was joking with you personally about it and joking about it a little bit, but just imagine someone who doesn't have the means that you have, like and
I
the
know.
ability to take off work and travel, and like they just who would be stuck because they don't have a car, or that their job doesn't allow them the time off, and not to have any access to that is terrifying.
Yeah, especially you made a good point about just not being able to take the time off work. A lot of clinics don't have hours on the weekends. It's 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Some of the other states like Illinois, Florida actually had more availability as well. They had Saturday appointments available. But in states like Tennessee, where I live, it was 8 to 4, 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. And I was like,
Right.
it also limits the amount of appointments you can choose from as well. And then you also have to take off work. And then it's not just like, if you were to get the abortion pill, it's not just a pill and then you can go to work the next day. You have to take off the following day too, because you're going to be in excruciating pain. It's not,
Right. Yeah, I mean, you definitely need to have the extra time to recover. Yeah. So it's basically like having some of a minor medical procedure. I mean, that's what it is. So, or major, depending on the situation. So yeah, this was very
it was insane because
you were definitely like going through the ringer at that point.
And we had released that episode, the old episode that I recorded in 2019. And I said, I don't think I could ever go through with an abortion, blah, 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 blah. And then we republished it. And I was like, oh, right. Sarah, you have no fucking idea.
2022 Sarah has abortion backup plan followed by abortion backup plan. She's got 4 abortions all lined up in a row, basically. She's like, I don't think I could ever do this. And now you're like, no, I got this one scheduled this date, or this one this date, or this one this date. Yeah. It's interesting.
Well, for me, it just made sense. I'm like, yes,
right.
like
no, that was smart, because you didn't know where you're going to be or when you found it. Like, you had to basically cover all your bases. So
and it wasn't. I mean, I think my views years ago were different, because I wouldn't be stupid enough to fuck up my birth control. I wouldn't be dumb enough to get pregnant. Like, that's how I used to look at it. Of just, if you're taking birth control and you fuck up, it's because you're stupid. And then I did that. And then just felt immediate shame. Like, wow, it was like the fucking Catholic guilt of, do I deserve this?
It was karma from us posting that episode and you listening to that again and just being like, oh, listen to me. And then all of a sudden you're like, here you go, bitch. Like, well, now what are you going to do?
Yeah. 2019 you was real stupid and naive. And then, Master of None too. I was literally crying every single day going, I don't know. This is just really stressful. And, he was like, well, you can't really make a decision until you know for sure you're pregnant. So it's not going to do you any good to freak out about it now. And I was like, but I'm a planner. I have to plan.
Right.
And he said, he's like, whatever you decide, if you are pregnant and you want to raise this child, we will do it together. Yeah, I know.
Holy what?
No, bro, I didn't tell you this. I was
fucking
bawling. And he was like, if that's the option you want to go, we will make it work. If you want to get an abortion, we will make it work.
Wow.
We will figure this out once you get home, And I was like, oh, so I just felt like I had a lot of support from him too, in whatever I decided. And that felt really good. But I knew what I needed to do if I was pregnant, which was go to Planned Parenthood and get the abortion pill. But I can't even believe that the last week that I had, I'm sweating right now. It's just like, it was just so stressful. And like you said, I definitely have I'm coming at this with a lot of privilege of, I can take the time off. I have the money to travel. I mean, I was even looking at options in Illinois, being able to fly to Chicago, other states that had more access in a short amount of time.
Right.
Just, it really put things into perspective, especially when everyone was talking about abortion rights in this country. I was going through it going, fuck, I'm really lucky right now. And I feel like I'm in a really shitty situation. What if I was worse off? What would I do then? I would be I would have been forced to, if I was pregnant, to remain pregnant and have a child if I didn't have the means.
And that's currently without Roe v. Wade being overturned. Like that's the current situation, which is not tenable at all anyways. It's already a difficult situation. It's only going to get worse if it does actually get overturned. So, and I was trying to get you to take some deep breaths and realize you can't control what's going to happen right now. All you can do is just see what happens, because you are a planner and a controller, and you don't like when things are not within your control. It definitely makes you very stressed. And
it was honestly awful. It was like the worst week I've had in a really long time.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, we talked. I don't think I talked to you that much normally during, like, even we talk a lot, but like I feel like you were constantly you just wanted someone to talk to about it. You just wanted to be able to kind of talk through it and everything
Well, I couldn't tell my
consistently.
mom. I couldn't tell my
Right. No, of
family. I
course
mean,
not. Yeah.
it was my one friend, you, and Master of None. And then I had talked to my sister-in-law because she lives in St. Louis, obviously with my brother, and I was like, "Hey, here's the situation. Don't tell my brother. If I need a place to stay, can I stay with you?" And she's very, she's like me. She's like, "Absolutely, you can stay, stay as long as you want. We'll give you a key, blah, 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 blah." So I knew I had options, but it's if what they're proposing or the Supreme Court wants to overturn actually happens, like you said, it is already so hard for some people in certain states to get
Right.
access to abortion care, and any more restrictions just makes it damn near impossible. And most people don't know as
Yep.
early on as I did either. I track this shit like a hawk because I definitely don't want to get pregnant.
Right.
And if I wasn't on top of it and then like then I found out, and then I had, a 2-week window and everything's booked up and I have to fucking fly to Illinois or drive 5 hours to get an abortion. It's not everyone can do that.
Well, I think that this is I know you're very, like,
It's
you're
just
getting
so stressful.
I can tell you're stressed about it now, even though it's no longer
I haven't
a
recovered.
concern.
I
Right.
mean, so body update here. So obviously not pregnant. Started the new pack. Made sure to not fuck it up. And Mastermind and I are having sex, but with a condom right now because I'm just worried about my body getting back on a routine, and I'm not going after the trauma and the fucking week that I went through. We're going to be having sex with me taking the pill, getting my body back into the routine, and then also using a condom before I leave for Guatemala.
Or just use the butt.
Oh, that's something he said too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I just looked at him like, "You're a fucking asshole, but I love you, but fuck you."
Fucking asshole is the operative terms there. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We have some exciting news. If you listened to last week's episode, you heard that we now have a DKS helpline where you have a mailbox. You can leave questions about sex, dating, relationships, anything like that, and we will choose some of the questions we get and air them and then answer them on air. And we have our first one, which I appreciate everyone. We've gotten several to go through, but I appreciate everyone who's left a message. If you do have a question you want to leave us on there, you can call 407-519-0181 and you leave your message. And of course, you can leave your name or some type of way that we can identify who it is. And thank you for calling. The call that we got that we're going to talk about today is from Jessica. And let's go ahead and listen to it now.
Hi, dating kind of sucks. This is Jess Kissler. I'm 34, and I've just recently, a couple months ago, realized that I'm bi. I just started dating a awesome woman. We've been out on 4 amazing dates so far, and I'm really nervous about kissing them. And I think that they want to as well, and are also nervous. How do I initiate a first kiss? Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Jessica, for calling. This is a really good question, and we're excited to help you answer it. I know, Adam, we've addressed this on the podcast before of always asking if you can kiss someone before doing it.
Right.
And
I think it's we've always talked about this on like a kind of a heteronormative relationship, just a man,
right.
A man and a woman. And like, as a man, you should never feel bad about asking consent to kiss somebody. After a first date or a second date, or in this case, a fourth, they've gone on a few dates now. And I think that it's absolutely the same thing. Like, it shouldn't be different.
Yeah. I think it's also, we've talked about this. I think it's also cute too, at the end of the date to just ask, "Can I kiss you?" And then you get your answer right there, and then you can kiss them or not kiss them.
So exactly. So I think this was it might be very nerve wracking to think about initiating a first kiss with a woman, since you haven't dated a woman before. And I don't think it's going to be any different than with a man, except, you'll have somebody who also probably respects consent and has empathy and compassion and maybe some emotional depth, so it's just like, it's just better than that. But on your next date, just go on the date, and then I would say that, at the end of the night, or even in the middle of the night, if it's going well, if you guys are sitting close together, you're at a bar, you're talking to, just say something like, I would really like to kiss you right now, would that be okay? Or would you, how would you feel if I kissed you right now? And I'm going to be pretty sure she's going to say, I would really like that.
Yeah, I totally understand with the nerves, though. It's a new relationship, or it's a new dating scenario and a new person. But I would think after 4 dates, I think she likes you too. And especially if she goes out with you again for a 5th date. So again, ask the question, but nerves are totally normal, and you'll be happy that you asked.
And she probably is having nerves as well. Like, keep that in mind too. So she might be feeling just as nervous, and isn't, a lot of times there's not one person doesn't have to make the move. You can both kind of just talk about it. And like I said, the conversation and communication, clear communication, is always the best solution in any of these situations, rather than trying to guess what someone's thinking.
Yeah. When the conversation presents itself to then ask, can I kiss you or may I kiss you? Then, you go from there. But don't start off the date going, can I kiss you? We haven't kissed yet. Da da da. Obviously, just
starting off a date like that is like firing someone on a Friday. I feel like, you don't do that.
Yeah, ease into the next date. Make sure the vibes are right. Then ask the question, and then see what happens.
And let us know what happens. You can either leave another message and let us know, or you can email us at datingkindasuckspodcast@gmail.com and let us know how it goes, because we are now personally invested in your new bi dating experience.
And again, you can call our DKS hotline. That number is 407-519-0181.
Absolutely. Would love to hear any of your questions about dating, sex, or relationships. And before we go to our second half, I'd like to give a shout out to the countries where we have been trending or on the charts, the podcast charts there. We've got some new ones. We have Tanzania, which I originally was trying to say Tanzania, but I
figured you would have said that.
Tanzania, but I think it's Tanzania.
That is correct. Yeah. I did this last time, so go for it. Yeah.
Barbados, which I've already said that I think people in Barbados are called Barbadosians, and I'm going to stick by that. Belize, Ghana, the Dominican Republic, Spain, and Slovakia. And I think some of those people are still listening to us from before, but Spain was a new one. So I know that was one. And I think Slovakia might have been
Belize
new one
too, I believe.
Belize new too. So to all of our listeners in those countries, thanks for putting us at the top of the podcast charts as far as dating and relationship podcasts. It's really always fantastic to hear. And with that, should we go ahead to take our next break before we come back with a topic?
We should, because this was supposed to be a short episode, and
it is already turning out
way too in depth.
It's way too long. Well, you had a lot to talk about. I think it was important information to talk about. I really think it was. So I think it's definitely worthwhile. But yeah, we'll be back in a few minutes with the rest of the topic. So I have been lurking in our Facebook group. I haven't been commenting as much, but I've been lurking in our Facebook group, which, by the way, is facebook.com/groups/DKS podcast. You can join and talk about dating, sex, relationships, ask advice, etc. And I have seen several people talk about the fact that they're no longer getting matches, that they started off doing pretty well, and now everything's just dry. It's just completely dead, and they are wondering if it's them or something else. So I thought we would do an episode about when it's important to reinvigorate or refresh your dating profile.
Yeah. Well, I also think too, in addition to updating your dating profiles and how to do it, we should also address that dating apps are like social media. There's an algorithm. They want to keep people on the apps for as long as possible by making sure that they're attracting the right users and their profiles are updated a certain way, and your behaviors on that app will get good results. And you've mentioned before, every time your Tinder gets removed or whatever, when you get a new one, or maybe it's not even Tinder, but when
Tinder and Bumble and all the ones that have been banned multiple times, yes.
Every single one. Every time you start fresh again, you get a huge influx of new people and new matches, because that platform is pushing your profile to more users because you're new, and they want new users to have a really great experience on their app, so they have high usage time, so that, you know, they continue using it more and more and more. Because that's really what they want on the apps, is you to be on it as long as they can keep you on
constantly, just constantly using the app. And that's why that's why they keep adding new features and everything as well too, because they're like, well, now you can video chat through our app, now you can do this, which they tout as like a safety feature, but it's also this way we keep you on the app. And you know, then Tinder has its own
they can go to advertisers and say our users on average spend X amount of minutes on our app, advertise with us. But that's because they have, you know, the record your voice feature, and you're listening to that on someone's profile instead of just swiping like it used to be. So also keep that in mind. But back to you starting fresh all the time, fresh profiles equal fresh matches. So it is valuable to update your dating profile. How often would you say? Every other month, quarterly?
I would say that maybe once you're starting to feel a little stagnant with it, once things are starting to feel a little slow down. So it might be, you don't want to do it too frequently, because I think that also could reflect negatively on you. But maybe every couple months would be a smart time to think about giving it at least some type of refresh, changing a few things up at least.
Well, think about your preferences and how you're feeling about dating every couple of months. I'm sure that changes as well. So hopefully if you're taking photos kind of frequently, you should update your photos when you get new photos, and just keep it fresh, because stale profiles, they're just going to push you further down and down in someone's algorithm. You're not going to be the first, I guess, like it goes back to TikTok and the For You page. If you have a really old stale profile, you're not going to show up on that For You page very often. You're going to be further and further down.
Yes. And I think that, you know, even before you start to physically change the profile, I think it's also a good time to think about why is it time to reassess? What are you doing on the dating apps? Are you enjoying it? Like it's almost like a I don't know, what's the thing, like maybe like an exit survey type thing, like or something like a satisfaction survey you should do with yourself. You kind of do like a self-administrated satisfaction survey. Like, are you enjoying using the dating apps right now? And if not, if your answer is no, well, then maybe don't even try reinvigorating. Maybe just take a break for a month and then come back to it too, because that also is fine. But then you start looking, what have you been looking for? Has that changed over time? Has your profile maybe need to be changed, because now you were originally looking for a relationship, but now you just want to get laid? What is your motivation? Are you
working? What's not working? If your opening lines aren't good, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Just doing an evaluation on that as well. Your tactics.
And are you like me, where you are on dating apps when you have absolutely no actual interest in going on any dates, because you just want to be a hermit and just hide out in the woods of Vermont?
Then you
I still feel bad.
Adam,
I still feel bad about like the one woman I matched with that we went out a couple times, but like, you know, she totally been game to keep going out, but I was just like, I just don't want to leave the house and put pants on. It was nothing to do with her. And like, that's maybe a time to reassess. Why am I on the dating apps at all? Am I actually trying to engage with these other people looking, or am I just like doom swiping just because I'm bored? And if that's the case, then find a fucking hobby. Like, don't use the dating apps as your it's your like just a little like way to make yourself feel better, because I feel like that type of validation is unhealthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're just going on to mass swipe just for some I mean, yes, dating apps can be entertaining and fun, but if you're not getting what you actually want out of it, evaluate that and then take a break, or change up your bio to reflect what you're actually wanting, because that could be lacking there too.
Right, just put some like, no, I'm probably not ever going to meet with you because I really have no desire to leave my house. But maybe we can talk.
Troll account, you know.
Maybe you can talk me out of it. No, but it is like, if you're not going to be genuine about using them, and this is funny coming from me because I'm being a total hypocrite about this. But if you're not going to be genuine about using them, then you shouldn't use them, because I know how frustrating that can be, and I have done that, perpetrated that as well, and I feel bad about it.
Okay, so we addressed that elephant in the room. So say you've already reevaluated everything and you're like, okay, cool. I'm still game, still want to date, still want to use the apps. What's the next thing you should look at if you're wanting to update your profile?
Let's start with the photos. I think photos are the good thing to keep, because that's the best way for you to even feel refreshed. I mean, it's just like, you know, if you have some new photos, if you've taken some recently, if you've gone any little trips, even if you've just taken a couple, you know, fun selfies, or you've had a photo shoot with a friend, which I know not everybody does. but I really can't recommend it highly enough. Just if you have a friend who's a photographer sometime, just to be like, hey, let's go do this and have a little photo shoot, because it can just be fun to have some cool professional photos of yourself, professional quality photos of yourself, just having fun. Like those are really nice to have.
Yeah, and if you don't have a friend who's a professional photographer, I am sure there are local photographers in your area. Obviously, it's not going to be free with a friend, and maybe with your friend it still would be free because you want to, pay creators what they're worth, but look into hiring a local photographer to take some shots that would be used for your dating profile and bring a couple of outfits and give yourself some options.
Exactly. I think that it's important, and that's for everybody. That's not just for, I mean, men especially need new photos. I mean, I think we can talk about it as just like as an overall group, men's photos are usually the worst, because there's a group of men who are great, have a lot of photos. Like I have a lot of dynamic photos just because I do take a lot of photos. I'm egotistical.
You said it, not me.
No, I know. But so many men have the stupid, oh, I'm posing my fish, I'm posing my truck, I'm in a suit because I'm at someone's wedding and they forced us to stand for a photo.
Here's
And
a selfie with sunglasses
it's
and a hat.
Yep, selfie with the sunglasses and the hat, and that's it. And I think that men could really use for it, and it's not less manly to go have a photo shoot. If you do think that is, you got bigger issues than that.
Well, you're also, if you were to hire a photographer, take those photos and like the photos that you see, it's also going to boost your self-confidence before you even get on the apps going, damn, I look good in these photos. Damn, it's going to give you that added boost. Then you're going to add them to your profile and you're going to feel even more confident when you're matching with people.
I think that's an excellent point. Having self-confidence going into redoing your dating profile, like you have to refresh your self-confidence at the same time, because if you're going into it like, oh, this isn't going to work, blah blah, that's not going to help you anyways. You want to walk into it saying, I'm a catch, I'm worth matching with, I'm worth having a conversation with at the very least, and you want to feel that way, and having new photos is good. Now let's talk about kind of photos. Like what would you suggest as far as like, how many photos, what kind of photos should you have, etc.?
Should I do the do's or the don'ts? Okay, overarching rules, try to have 5 to 7 photos. Of those 5 to 7, maybe one can be a selfie. The other one should be lifestyle photos and should have at least one full body photo as well. And that variety, instead of just all 5 selfies or all 5 mirror or full body mirror selfies or whatever, that variety is going to keep your profile interesting and going to keep people like, oh, I like this photo of her, and give you also something to talk about if in fact you do match.
Yeah, and I would avoid for men, avoid shirtless gym selfie photos. Actually, any type of gym selfie if you're a woman as well. Like it doesn't matter. Like that type of thing, it just generally isn't a good photo. And like you said, keep it to maybe one selfie, and the rest should be either
you get one. Yeah,
it's not hard to set up your phone and actually set a timer and take a photo of you either. It's not a hard thing to do. But if you are so boring that you can't take any photos of your life, you have no lifestyle photos of yourself, that you don't do anything worth doing at all, that's a thing to reassess as well. Like that's maybe like, what are you doing on dating profiles? Like what are you offering to somebody who has interests and desires and dreams and wants to go do things, if you can't even show a photo of you doing things you love? And I think that's important to keep in mind.
Yeah, and with those photos, they don't always have to be smiling photos either. Like I don't recommend this one, but this is an example that I just remembered. I used to have one where I was in New York City and I was licking a popsicle. Now the popsicle is obviously fucking problematic because you're going to have a lot of shitty guys going, I wish I was that popsicle. But if you can have something where you're making a goofy face, or just those candid photos that maybe your friends or family would take of you, you can show that side of your personality in those photos. And I think it will actually resonate really well with people who are interested in meeting with you.
Absolutely. And for men and women alike, it is, like Sarah said, important having like full body photos. And I think it's because there's a kind of this thought process that if you have a full body photo and someone, like you don't want someone who's going to be shallow. So why should you put a full body photo? But at the same time, why wouldn't you just want somebody who finds you attractive for you? And I think that's the more important aspect of this, is that a dating profile is what you're putting out there. It's not you trying to test everybody. It's what you're putting out to say, this is who I am. And you want people who look at who you are and say, oh, that's great, I like that person. And so your photos should be honest. They should be genuine. Oh, that, and speaking of being honest, no filters. Like,
Yeah.
and then sometimes I will see, it's sometimes I'll see on Bumble, like women's photos. Go back and look through your profile after you upload your photos and see how they crop and see how they look.
If they're
Like,
blurry too.
don't just upload them and be like, oh yeah, they'll be fine, because Bumble and Tinder, like if you use the same photos, they actually crop differently. And so like sometimes people will post these photos and it's like such a close-up that all I can see is their eyes, nose, and mouth, and then
What?
some of them put like these weird blurry apps on because they're trying to like get rid of, I don't like this wrinkle, I don't like this whatever, and it looks so fake that I'm like, this person does not even like themselves. Why am I going to like them? And I think that your photos should show self-love, because it shows that you're worthy of other people loving you.
I think my recommendation goes back to, if you feel like you have to hide something in the photos, crop a certain way, or use excessive filters, my recommendation is to look at hiring a local photographer and work on boosting your self-confidence, and then actually getting some of those newer professionally shot photos on your profile.
Yes. And if the photo is over, I would say, a year old, unless you look identical, like
Right.
unless nothing's changed, if it's over a year old or so, then I would normally recommend getting rid of it. Like now, for example, I keep the bacon photo in my profile, even though it is over a year old now, just because it's kind of iconic.
It's you.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it makes sense. But like, I also, if I
You
have
look the same.
yeah, I look pretty much the
Yeah.
same. So you're pretty identical. I got those extra 30 Pando pounds on, but that's about it. But yeah, so I think that as long as I look, you look close to it. But if you've gained weight, lost weight, grown your hair out, what, like all these things.
Cutting your hair, and you have
Yeah.
3 long hair photos, and then like a pixie cut, and then another one, and you're like, what kind of hair is she gonna have when she shows up to the date? I don't know.
Right. Then yeah, try to make sure you at least identify, if you have a couple pictures that are maybe a little bit older in your profile, you identify the most recent one is this or whatever. You can you can do that. And then of course we have to say, and then I hate that we still have to say this. You would think in 2022 of all fucking years people would know this by now. No group photos. Like don't and not like where, I mean, you can do a photo with a friend, you can do a photo with a couple friends, as long as it's obvious who you are. But like if all your photos are just group photos,
Right.
they're just, yeah, it's a terrible idea, because first of all, everybody's going to assume that whoever you are, you're the worst looking person in the group. That's the assumption.
Statistically, that is what ends up happening.
That usually bears truth. Unfortunately, yeah, that usually bears fruit. But they will assume that, because if I see only group photos, I'm like, well, they must be ashamed of themselves, so they're gonna try to hide with all the other people, which is just not good.
No one's taking the time to find you to figure out which one of your 7 photos you are, when all 7 photos are group ones.
Right.
And then also another important point, which I actually thought you were going to mention for whatever reason, children in photos. I would be overly cautious having kids in your photos, just because of kids on the, like, it's a dating app. Like, I know some people are like, it's my nephew or whatever, right. But I would be overly cautious of putting a minor in any of your dating profile photos.
I would. The only time I would say is that if you do put them in there because it's like a great photo of you and you're then just block out their face. You can do that with an app, and then it's okay. There's an app for iPhone called Sensor that's really easy, that allows you to blur or pixelate anything, or like whatever area. I use it for all my naked photos on Instagram. Yep. Yeah, so but it also works for blocking out things for Bumble. Or if you do post a group photo on Bumble, you can block out your friends' faces, so then they know which one is you. That's another thing you can do. And that way, if it's like a really good photo of you, but you just happen to be in a group of people, then make sure it's very clear who you are. And if you want to have a shortcut or a cheat code to having good pictures, then if you have a pet, include your pet with your photos, like you and your pet, and people just fucking love that shit for the most part.
But not every, just like with selfies, not every single one is you with your pet. You get one. You get one, maybe two.
Maybe two.
Maybe two. But they need to have variety. So yes, you can have a selfie photo if you want. Yes, you can have your pet, but not all. Yes, you might be able to have a little bit of a cropped one or blur out someone's face or whatever, but it can't be every single photo. Because just thinking about what we talked about earlier with being on an app, being engaged on the app, and keeping people on the app, what do you think people are going to do when they see a profile like that? Probably swipe left, probably not engage with it. And then what's that going to do? That's going to push your profile lower and lower down the algorithm. So we want to prevent those things from happening by making sure you have a nice variety.
And I think that's if you can keep all these things in mind, it should be pretty easy. But let's move on from the visual aspects. So the photos are very important. They are important because it is a visual medium. You are swiping on people, but there's so many other aspects of a dating profile. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will talk about all the other aspects.
Even though I haven't been on dating apps recently, I know just from TikToks that Hinge and Bumble and other apps have fun new features and prompts for you to fill out, like their voice recording feature where you can just talk a little bit about yourself. And I think filling those out is important because it shows, one, the app that you're filling out your profile 100% the best you can. And then you're also going to get more people engaging with that because now you have more meat on your profile than just your photos and your bio. You have these other prompts that keep people engaged.
And I do agree that the dating apps, I think they reward people who take the time to fill out more of the content. So it might seem like, oh, I'm just going to set this up real quick. But if you actually go through and when you refresh your profile, like if you're like, oh, let me change the photos, go back through and edit your profile, like and go through all the prompts that they offer, because a lot of the dating apps will have like, oh, here's what you have to do to get to 100% filled out. And they might have added new questions. They might add, like, a lot of them over the last couple of years have now, are you vaccinated status? So you can put that in there. And so they like this information because it's good for them for, selling off all of your information to advertisers.
Right.
but at the same time, they reward that because thank you for filling this out. Let's push you in front of more people. So take the time to fill out every prompt that you can. Except I would say the only exception would be something like OkCupid that has like infinite number of questions you can answer. You don't have to answer all the questions, but you can do all of their profile questions. And I think it's important to do that.
And it's easy. Once you have all of your fields filled out, it also helps people who are swiping on you going, oh, she's vaccinated, swiping right. Oh, he's a Trump supporter. Just having that information gives you the ability, or gives others the ability on your profile to swipe based off of what's in there to know if they're a good match for you.
I had a match with somebody recently when I was in Orlando that I was on Bumble, and she didn't really have much filled out at all, just like 2 photos and barely anything. But we matched and we were chatting, and then after a few like good conversations, she was like, "Yeah, by the way, I'm very conservative and like pro cop, and I just really liked your photos, so I thought I would swipe on you. But do you think," like kind of like putting that out there? And I was like,
no.
yeah, and I was kind of like, oh, well, like if she had made that clear in her profile, she'd actually filled out the prompts, I would have known, and I wouldn't have wasted my time or hers, because I was like, oh yeah, we're not going to get along at all. Like I said, it doesn't matter like that you're attractive. That's not like, that's great and all, but I'm not going to give, someone who I consider to be hateful just from their beliefs alone, like a pass because they're attractive. So I was just like, yeah, I don't think we would be able to have any fulfilling conversations whatsoever. So let me just say good luck. And she was like, all right, thank you, you too. So it was a very nice conversation, but like it could have been avoided if she had just put the effort into filling out the profile.
Yeah, I'm surprised you swiped right on just 2 photos too. But
I mean, she was very attractive.
Oh, well,
like that's things like I saw her and she's like, I was like, oh, she's very attractive. She, seemed, and she had like I don't remember what it was. She had like a 1-line bio that was like, it showed that she actually filled out something, so it wasn't a catfish. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'll at least swipe on that.
Yeah, but you should have more than just 2 photos and 1 line in your bio. Is the point, Adam?
Yes, because it wasted our time. It wasted both of our time, and it would have been nice not to. And I used to, in previous episodes, have said that I would swipe right on everybody and just wait to see who I matched. And since then, the dating apps have also started to change the way that they do that, so you can't actually do that as much. But I also think that they, I think, Sarah, you said you'd seen maybe that they punish people who do that too, whose behavior is spam-like.
Yeah, I mean, that was something just in the algorithm research that I did, that some people, no one actually knows truly what drives their algorithm, but it was said that act like a normal person who's actually trying to be intentional on the apps would act, which means don't right swipe on literally every single person, because actions like that could cause you, I guess, to get pushed down and be seen as spammy or just not a real account that you want to see on your,
So if you want to avoid being shadow banned or whatever,
Right.
then just try to take the time to swipe. And it always depends what you're looking for, because if you're looking to actually date, I think that's kind of where this advice is kind of going to. Because if you're looking to get laid, there's, that's easy years. It's easy, but looking to date, you want to read the profile anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also like not all of the apps have the same ability for how many swipes you can swipe on every day now. I think
True.
Hinge and some other ones now have limits.
Hinge, I feel like only gave you like 5 people a day. Bumble has a limit. Tinder also has a limit, so I know they do. So it is important to fill out the bio. Now we hear this all the time. It's like this argument that people say that like, well, nobody reads the bio. Like it's one of these like just statements that everybody says, and that's not true.
No one might read it at first. At first, maybe if they're in swipe mode, they're not fully reading the bio. They might glance at it, go, they have a bio, skim it, not fully digest it, and then match and keep moving forward. But when it comes to messaging you, that bio is really important, because when you go back to, oh, who have I matched with, and they don't have a bio or anything in there valuable, I'm gonna unmatch them.
Exactly. People who are just trying, like fuck boys and spam bots, they don't have, they don't care if you have a bio. That's true. They're not going to read it. But someone who's actually looking to date, men and women and non-binary, anybody who's looking to actually date, they're going to want to read your bio, because they're looking to date you. They're looking to find out who you are and if you're worth their time to meet in person. And that's actually a time that's even more valuable now in a pandemic era, where people have been used to being hermits like I am. Mm-hmm. And so the bio is important for the right people. And if you're thinking, well, nobody ever reads it, that's because the people who you're interacting with are not the people who are trying to date you. They're just trying to either get laid, or they're just not legitimate.
I was going to say, and check out their bio. I'm sure they're not putting anything in their bio either, and you're not getting anything out of it. And you're like, what the fuck? They didn't fill out their bio. So it's like, put out what you want to attract. So if you want more information about people, if you want other profiles to have better looking photos, if you want just better interactions, you have to start with you and your profile.
And what would you put in your bio?
Good vibes only. No, I'm kidding.
Good. Oh my! Please do not put good vibes only.
No, I was actually going to say, please don't put that. Also, I would, going back to what you put out there is what you're going to attract. Come from everything you fill out in your bio from a positive standpoint. So don't say, I'm not looking for this, and this. I hate this. I hate that. That is only going to attract negative interactions. You want to be positive. You want good experiences. Put out good things about you and share good things, not what you don't want in a relationship.
And also, what it's the same thing with the fact that people say, well, nobody reads bios. And it's like, no, people who actually matter, who are interested in you, are going to read the bio. It's the same thing. If you put negative things, nobody who matches those negative things is going to give a shit what you have to say. Like they're not.
They don't know you.
Yeah, they're not going to respect you saying, "Oh, if you're this or this, swipe left." Like that actually, especially with shitty men, just encourages them to swipe on you and try to tell you that you're shitty. And so you're better off just trying to paint a picture of who you are. Think of this more like a resume and less of a what you want list. This is more of a little brief summary, something that just paints a little picture of who you are, why someone would want to date you.
Agreed. And trust me, I have tested this out myself when I was updating my profile from a negative mindset, and it did not resonate well with other people. And then I went, I need to take a step back off the app. So if you're looking at your bio and you're like only updating it to negative things, revert back to what we just started this conversation with and go, maybe it's time to take a break so you're not negative when it comes to dating.
Yes. If you're looking forward to dating, you want that profile to have some optimism to it. Maybe a fun fact or two about you, something that gives them a conversation starter. And you want to just be able to, you don't have to, don't give your life story. You don't have to list every movie that you love. You don't have to, you can just kind of say this is what you like. This is what you're
I
looking
do
for.
this on the weekends.
Yeah.
I prefer this, or I'm a red wine girl over a beer. Just like you said, conversation starters that are pretty easy.
I think that like mine, I think just says something like that I'm a nomad traveling. And it has a couple of my like political or not political. I mean, human rights shouldn't be political. Maybe a couple of my beliefs, and then also says, I love dive bars, karaoke, and photography. And I'm always looking for a new muse. And and I have my socials in there if someone wants it. Although I know some people don't like putting the socials in there, and that's kind of a thing
Up
that
to
you
you.
have to, yeah, it's up to you. But
Yeah.
just like, so dive bars, karaoke, and photography, like those are the like I show that I'm into that. So someone can, like, people will message me and say, oh well, I know this great dive bar. Have you tried this place? Have you tried this place? Or what's your go-to karaoke song? Is a good prompt. Like on Bumble, people can ask me that because I've given them, like an actual, like an opening. That's a great question to ask because it starts a good conversation.
Yeah, that's a good point. And it gives reference to, if I was to date this person, these are the things we'll probably end up doing. Karaoke, dive bars, and photography.
Photography, right. And if their thing is all about, hiking and seafood boils out in the sun, then I'm going to be like, no, thank you.
And then you can just swipe left because you saw their profile, and that's not what you want to do with your life.
Which is another reason not to mass swipe, but to actually look at their profile before you decide to swipe on them. You also want to avoid all of the cliches. Sarah, what are some of our cliches that we see all the time?
Looking for my partner in crime, looking for my other half. Oh, also just like, I feel like dog dad or dog mom are kind of cliche.
Oh yeah, that's too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I used to see that all the time. Or tacos are my favorite. Just some of the really just generic, I was going to say basic, but some of the really generic lines.
Extra, I think is the new word. Extra. It's very extra.
Extra? Yeah. It's just try not to use those cliches. And also, I would avoid saying I'm looking for my partner just in general, and just talk about you and who you are as a person instead of what I'm looking for. Because sometimes those statements can come across really negative or really desperate, or I want this relationship now, instead of just going, here, this is who I am. I'm great. Want to get to know me.
I think that it's just one of the, once again, this should be a little thing about who you are. And it's not always about like the other person. It's about who you are. And some of these cliches, like the partner in crime thing, is just like, that's just so overdone. Like, please just don't do that. And other half,
for a power couple. Oh, that was the other one.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that one, but yeah, that's awful. That other half, of course, implies that you're not a whole person by yourself. And we've talked about this many times, that as an individual, you should try to be a whole individual looking for another whole individual. The dog stuff, anything that's like, you can say interested in casual dating. You can say something like that because that does show something that's actually of value. But just being like looking for someone to feed me tacos is just like, what?
6 foot or over, big cock. I hope no one puts that, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's just like tall, dark, and handsome. I don't know.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's not, I mean, you're right. Talk about yourself and let the people you match with, then you see if you're matching with people that are what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Don't waste time on talking about what you're looking for. It's just, it's not the way to use dating apps in our opinion.
Just put out your vibes and that will attract people. Don't try to fish for them. Right. They'll come if you put out the good feelers. And then they'll come late. No.
and then you'll both come. Yeah, ideally, that'll be a good relationship. If you don't both come, well, there you go. You did it wrong. Also, avoid the phrase drama free, please. Because I've
never really seen that from men, but.
Well, I've seen, like, women will say that, but a lot of times, like, they are saying it, and it always just has like a little red flag to me. And I think men who say that I don't think men are saying drama free. Men will usually say that they don't like drama or something like that, which is just like, it's just, but both of those things are just, they're stupid to say. Like, first of all, nobody fucking that's like putting on your profile, I like music.
Yeah, no shit. Everybody fucking likes music and movies, and I like the sun. I like sunny days.
Right.
Get rid of the generic things that most people like.
Yes. Just show things that make you unique as an individual that you enjoy doing that, I mean, we have those things that are like, liking The Office is not a personality trait. I get if you like it.
Brunch is not a personality trait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are just things that, yeah. Do you know anybody who doesn't fucking like brunch?
People like
it's,
food.
yeah,
I like food. I'm like, yeah, I like to
Oh
eat
no,
too.
shit
Fuck.
too. Yeah. I like to chew up food and swallow it. Yeah, it's fucking dumb. The other things that I would say that maybe a couple of things you want to have in your bio to consider would be if you have children, I think that especially if they're an active part of your life, if it's something that that it might be worth mentioning, that they now you don't have to say it in such a way that's like, I have two little ones and they come with the package or something like that. You don't like. It just sounds like it's always weird.
Just be blunt about that.
Yeah.
I have two kids.
Two kids and I share custody. Like something like that. Or two kids and I, and my schedule is tight, but I'm willing to make time for the right person. You can say something like that. That shows that you're willing to make the effort. If you're in an open relationship, if you're ethically non-monogamous, anything like that, you need to mention it up front. Because it's a lot of men are known for not mentioning it and then all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, I'm and then you feel like it's probably bullshit anyways. But I had someone that I matched with a while ago and we had a good conversation, and then like halfway through she mentioned, like, we've been talking for like a couple of weeks. This is like a year ago, and then she mentioned her husband, and I was like, wait, did you say husband? She goes, oh yeah, I'm ethically non-monogamous. I thought I don't like to bring that up early because like I feel like it scares people away. And I was like, it doesn't scare me away, but now I don't feel like you're being honest. Like I feel like you just now lost all honesty with me at all. So
that was like us putting our podcast in our bio too, and felt like that was something being hidden and people take that the wrong way, where it's just better to be honest. If you think maybe this is the point. If you think something is going to be an issue, if you're talking about it on the first date because you didn't tell them earlier on, maybe you should just put it in your bio.
That's very true. And one thing that's probably a touchy subject that you could also put in there, and I think that it'll limit your matches, but it might also help you find people who appreciate the honesty, would be if you do have something like HSV, that it might be worth putting in there, that if you are positive, because then you can find other positive people too. And that's just one of those things that's we talked about that when we did our episode with Megan. And she said that like it might be something to save for initial conversation after you match with somebody, but it also can be put in the profile too. But that's not one that I would say like you have to do. That's more of a if you want to. Yeah.
Well, if you're wanting to update your dating profiles, what are our biggest takeaways? Just update it.
Update it.
Well, no, I'm saying if you're using dating apps now and you're listening to this episode, take a look at your profile right now and question, when was the last time you actually looked at your bio and did an update with your photos and the questions?
And also, which apps are you on? Maybe switch up apps. Try if you've been stuck exclusively on Bumble, maybe give Hinge a shot, even though fuck Hinge for the story that we've told before about them. But anyways, so you can give them a shot. You could try Tinder, OkCupid. There's a few that I would say please don't try. And if that's where you've been this whole time, then yes, absolutely delete that entire profile and try a new one. But if you're on Plenty of Fish, stop. Yeah, please
God,
stop.
No.
It's just
you deserve better.
Yes, I mean, please stop. It's just awful. And then the paid ones like Match and eHarmony, they are not worth your time. They're not worth your time. Just put the effort into other profiles. Yes,
they're also on all those other apps, so it's not like you're getting an exclusive list of people who are just on Match.
Who you find on Match and eHarmony are scammers from Nigeria that have military white men as their profile photos, who then create this whole story about being general contractors overseas and basically try to scam older women. That's what you find there. So just don't worry about that. If you're going to reinvigorate your dating profile and you're on Plenty of Fish, the way to reinvigorate is to burn your phone to the ground, then go get a new phone, one that doesn't have all the bugs and Trojans from Plenty of Fish, and then download Tinder, Bumble, or Hinge, or one of those.
Coffee meets bagel. What's the other?
Oh yeah, coffee meets bagel. That's another one.
That's a good one.
That
Or
is
you
good.
know, if you live, we like foreplay too. If you live in New York City.
If you live in New York City, yeah, foreplay is great for like double dating. And then there's actually a bunch of like little niche apps out there for very specific people, like Field, which is supposed to be for more of like kink related. There's Her, which is supposed to be lesbian dating, but a lot of them are so niche that you might not have a lot of matches because there's just not a lot of people using it. But you can always try to find one that's for your specific niche as well.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So yeah, at this point, I think it's just if you're, refresh, basically assess why you want to refresh and how you're enjoying dating and enjoying the dating apps. And if you are still enjoying it, then touch up your photos, touch up your bio, touch yourself a little bit.
I knew you were gonna say something about touching yourself. I was just fucking waiting for it.
And just avoid some of the pitfalls, and you might find that you're going to start getting new matches. And then a couple months from now, you might realize, oh, my matches have died down again. Do it all over again.
It's a cycle, but it's necessary because you want to keep it fresh on there. It gets boring after a while. And if you are enjoying this podcast and after you reinvigorate your profile and update it and you start getting more matches and you're like, thanks, Adam and Sarah, you can then give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes, or you could do it before you do it because you know that it's going to work out so well.
Right, of course. And if you're on Spotify, you can rate us as well. If you do have questions that you would like answered, you can either email us at datingkindofsuckspodcast@gmail.com or leave a voicemail on our DKS helpline at
407-519-0181.
You know what? I should look up to see if 0181 actually spells anything, but I don't think it does. But yeah, that's 407
that's a good point.
519-0181. I know it would have been great if it was just like get laid or something like that, but I mean it's not. But that
we didn't plan that far. That would be weird. Yeah, that would be weird.
Of course, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you can watch this instead of listening, and that's youtube.com/datingkindofsucks. You get to see all of the outtakes because my editing is much less than Sarah's, to the point that I rarely do anything other than I even leave all the like, what are we going to talk about stuff, like I'll just leave it all in there because what's the point?
Let me know that. Don't let me know that. You
I
make
like
it
people
seem like you edit more.
I like people to see just the raw video of us just sitting there talking, but also, I know. You can also support us for $5 a month if you do enjoy the podcast and what we do here. And that's on Patreon, patreon.com/DKS podcast. We would love your support there. We have Patreon episodes that come out occasionally, right now about once a month. Ish.
Adam,
that's my fault. I think I have one I have to put up there actually already.
You still haven't put that up. You're so bad. I bother you every week, and you're like, I'm gonna do it, and then I let you be an adult and do it.
Yeah,
and then you don't.
I'm bad. I'm terrible.
But if you are still enjoying this podcast after Adam's lack of publishing things to Patreon, you can also follow us on Instagram at Dating Kinda Sucks, Adam's TikTok at Adam Heathavitable, or my TikTok at Simply Sarah G. _. I always forget that. Like, I know that there's an underscore.
Yeah, it's very important. And then join us on our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/DKS podcast. And we will be back next week with a brand new episode.
Maybe a guest, who knows? Until next time.
Something.
Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we get no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yuck, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.